Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Three Stooges, more specifically about Moe Howard, the leader of the Stooge trio, who pretty much stayed steadfast from all the Stooge shorts they made between 1934 all the way through 1959. Now, as I always do research, I always come upon some very interesting things, and when I found this, I thought, everyone is going to absolutely love this, especially all the big Stooge fans. Now, before I reveal it, I'm going to talk a little bit about Moe, the fact that he was essentially the leader of the group. Whenever we saw Moe on screen, we knew that he was in charge and he was telling Larry, of course, but Curly, or it could be Shemp, or it could even be Joe Besser, what to do. We must not forget that he was also the manager of the Stooges, and he always spoke for them in the sense of trying to get them the best deals that they could and so forth, which actually didn't turn out as well as he wanted them. And when I came upon this piece of information, I thought that it would be a great value to all of us, because what I aim to do in this channel is to highlight the memory of these individuals, people like Moe Howard, who've done so much to the community, to us, just being able to give us so much laughter for so many years, even after decades that they are gone. So I wanted to look a little bit about him and his personal life. You know, what do we know about him? How tall was he? What information do we know about him? Well, I was able to find his identification card, his motion picture employee identification card. You may think, well, so what? Well, it's actually a very important document. One of the reasons why I say this is because your social security, or his social security, was on this. This was for all the motion picture employees, and that's a very important number. You'd carry this around you, and he was even confirmed with the FBI. You'd have to put your fingerprints with the FBI. So it was a very serious thing. So let's take a look at it in detail, and I have it in amazing HD quality for all of you to see. Now here it is, guys and gals. I know all of you wanted to see this fully. Now there are two sides to this. I'm going to start with the front side, of course. And first, I'm going to just note the look of this card. This is very similar. I'll show you a very similar example to this, to what a social security card looks like. Now, a lot of people who watch my videos are not necessarily from the United States, so I wanted to just show the comparison. Social security number essentially is a number given to you by birth as a citizen, and so you have it for the rest of your life. Once you pass away, that number could be easily released because essentially you're deceased and that number always belongs to you. But when you're alive, you always want to keep that in secret. So essentially, he had this information on him, and he would have to present it whenever it was requested of him. Now it says motion picture employee on the top, and his specific number was 5,999. That was his number. It's really interesting, his photo there. Now if you notice, Moe Howard was known for his kind of bowl type haircut. It would be kind of the cut all the way around. Now that was his character haircut. Whenever he would be out and about in his everyday life, he would actually have it on his ID card. He would pull that over, essentially over to expose his forehead, and this was his normal hairstyle per se. It's great. It also has the number there, 5999. Almost looks like a mugshot, with Columbia Pictures down below. Now that is the company, of course, that he worked for, making the Stooge shorts. Remember, the Stooge shorts were essentially small movies. They were short movies, also known as shorts. And so they were not television episodes or anything like that. So that's why you see the motion picture camera up on the top left-hand screen. Now his name was Moe Howard, but of course we know his real first name was Moses, and his last name was Horowitz. However, when they came to the United States, they of course changed their name and so forth to be just more easily recognizable, easier said for the American public. So he went by Moe Howard. We see his social security number, 563-12-6482. Now, all those that have social security numbers will know that is pretty much the layout there. And to me, it's really surprising, actually kind of shocking that it's on here. I guess it's to prevent forgery. That's my guess. But again, this is a very important legal document because why else would it have the Social Security printed on there, right? And then his signature, Mo Howard, really nice, very flowing signature, beautiful M, beautiful H there. I really love the H, in fact, how he swings it along the middle bar there. And then we have Harry, and I'm not sure what that middle letter is. You can guess down below. Let me know what that middle letter is if you can guess it in the comments. It looks like a T, maybe a D, or maybe another letter. I don't know. And I believe Harry Smith, so that's the individual who validated this document. Let's look at the back side. There's a lot of really interesting things on the back. Now, I'm glad we can look at the back because there's a lot more really cool information here. Remember, this is not a driver's license. This is a motion picture employee card, and there's so much on here. I'm going to come to the top in just a little bit. We're going to look up that location, but this was issued, as it says on the front, by Columbia Pictures Corporation. There's even a watermark. It's kind of orangey. You can see in the background, motion picture employee. So that was trying to prevent anyone from forging these documents because apparently they were fairly valuable. Now, he was 45 at the time that this particular one was issued. That doesn't mean that was, of course, the first time that he was a motion picture employee. Just remember that. He started the shorts in 1934. Now, Mo Howard was born June 19th, 1897. Now, he was 45 at the time this was released. Remember, 1934 was the year that he began the shorts, and this was issued, as it says on the right, July 1st, 1942. Now, what I find really interesting, look at his age, look at the height. He was 5'3". I didn't know he was that short, to be honest with you. 5'3" is fairly short. I love how they included the half in there. I wonder if he put that in there and they were like, yeah, we've got to get it really accurate. Let's add the half in there. Or was that something that he was measured and he came out to a half, 3.5, and they added that on there? I would really like to know that, but that's a really interesting fact right there. His weight, 168. Very interesting compared to his height, of course. Now, I want to look at the eyes in just a little bit, but his hair was brown, which I always thought it was black, to be honest, but I guess brown is what actually comes through. But the eyes were blue-green, according to this. Now, in my opinion, again, did he write blue-green himself when he was issued this document, or did they see his eyes and said, wow, he has times where we see blue and we see green, we should see a little bit of each, so we're going to put blue-green. To me, that's very surprising. I had no idea his eyes were that beautifully colored. And then he even has his index fingers from both hands fingerprinted on there. And if you look, it says the bearer whose signatures, photograph, and fingerprints appear on this card has his or her fingerprints on file with the Civilian Identification Division of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Washington, D.C. Now, why does this stand out to me? Well, I had to do, when I was a teacher, fingerprints from the Department of Justice to be accepted, so I had to be filed there. He had to be filed with the FBI in order to get this card, in order to essentially be a movie actor, and I think that's very interesting. And before we finish with this document, on the top, if lost, will finder of the card please return this to room 408, and this is the address, 5504 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California. Let's go take a trip and see what that looks like. Now, here we are. My name is Rick9G, and we have found Mo Howard's motion picture employee card, and we're ready to turn it in right on the corner of Hollywood, as that says. And this is the building. Now, what's really interesting is that it stood the test of time. This is probably very close to what this building looked like. Surprisingly enough, LA does not destroy all of its landmarks. It destroys, yes, a good amount of them, but not all of them. Some are preserved. I want you to see the details here on the actual side of the building. Each one of these are different, and they're little like caricatures, little statues, and I'm gonna guess that this was from the era of the 40s. You can see the architectural style is just beautiful, this head and so forth. This is an older building. Even the door here, it's really, really interesting, really, really cool to see. I'll show you the whole building there. Even this on top here, I mean, look at these statues. You can tell that this definitely was someplace reminiscent of Hollywood. I mean, look, scenes over here. This is just incredible. Every balcony adorned like that. This is insane, guys and gals. Of course, their businesses down here, everything has changed in that aspect. But yeah, we're right here on the corner of Hollywood in Little Armenia, this is what they call it, and Western. And it's a great building, big building. Did it say? Yes, so I believe it said 400, room 400 and something. Yeah, so that would be up here somewhere. Of course, we can't really narrow it down. Maybe it would be cool if we can go in there and maybe go to that room and just see what's there now. Maybe there's a restaurant there. Maybe there's an office. It would be great to see. I'd love to know your thoughts down below, taking a look at this really cool document, really cool just look into history, which is what I love, essentially history and a look at old Hollywood. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much, guys and gals, for the support, the love. Let me know that you enjoyed this, of course, by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It does help out. We're on our way to 120,000 subscribers. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, guys and gals, be hopeful. Thank you so much to all the supporters I have on Patreon, especially my Diamond tier patrons: Vito L, Tommy G, Ricky, David D, Citizen Kane, Sally N, and Grace U. If you want to find more exclusive content, visit my Patreon page, links in the description.